Undertale is an amazing game created by Toby Fox, a game developer and a music artist. The intro of the game explains the story of two races, humans and monsters. Basically, a war happened and humans won and casted a spell on the monsters to be forever stuck in the underground. Legend said people who go up to Mount Ebott, where the underground is, never returns, and this is where the story kicks off. A genderless child, Frisk as they call them, goes up into the mountain and falls into the hole. You play this character and you get to learn the dangers of being a human that's stuck in the underground. That's all I'm going to share about the game because the rest of it is very fun to play. Those who have played know that the game is based on your decisions. Killing certain monsters can lead into a neutral route, killing all monsters such as the main characters results in the genocide route, and last but not least, we have the pacifist route, where you don't kill anything and you're a good, wholesome child. With every great game comes a community of people to support it, also known as a fandom. Now, most fandoms start off great. There's beautiful fan art, heartwarming fanfictions, cosplays, and so much more. But as these fandoms grow bigger, so does the toxic environment that's slowly developing. Perverted individuals create NSFW fan art, lewd fanfictions, OCs that are overpowered and shipped with desired characters, and so much more. As someone who has been in several gaming communities or anime communities online, I've seen it all. The internet, of course. They form on several social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, DeviantArt, Amino, 4chan, and the list goes on forever. Today, I'll be referencing Amino the most. If you don't know what Amino is, it's an app to literally search up a community and join it to find people who have the same interest. And no, this video is not sponsored. A lot of people use Amino for role-playing such as myself. Now before you jump to conclusions, role-playing isn't a bad thing. It can be, but most times, a group of people publicly get together and form a story with characters they either made or choose to be. And most websites or apps have community guidelines to make sure everyone is safe. Amino is actually pretty strict with this. Unlike apps like Discord, your account can get in severe trouble for posting things like dummy thick Thanos. And that may or may not have happened with me, which resulted in a 24-hour ban, but that's a different story. Now, let's get into why the Undertale fandom is described as bad, cringy, a monstrosity, blah blah blah. Like I mentioned before, there are several perverts making NSFW art in several communities. I wouldn't have an issue with it if the characters they used were over the age of 18. Frisk, the genderless child, is shipped so often with Sans, who is estimated to be about 20 to 30 years old.
What in fuck's name are you doing?
And while you can technically go out with Sans in the game to get some dinner, Sans shows absolutely no interest in dating or having a relationship with Frisk. He even brings up something about knock-knock jokes he has with a woman while he sits outside a large door that is in Snowden Forest. The woman he talks about is actually Toriel, a character who cares a lot about the children who have fallen into the underground. She asks him to watch over any other children who come through, because, spoiler, her husband kills them. I'm too lazy to explain why now, but it might come up later. Who knows? And Papyrus. Ah yes, the dating scene. Papyrus clearly states that he doesn't like the child in that way. End of discussion.
Hello everyone, it is I, the great Papa- What the fuck?!
And please, for the love of everything, do not get me started on people who ship Sans and Papyrus together. You know, the brothers in the game. Like, come on! Online people commonly identify Frisk as a girl, letting NSFW artists to give her advanced adult features, and or including her in weird fetishes like inflation or feet. And it does not help that the Undertale AUs exist. Undertale AUs are basically different universes of Undertale, like Underfell, Underswap, Swapfell, and so many more. AU meaning alternate universe. One that is commonly banned from online communities is Underlust, or Lustfell, or whatever the hell it's called. And I'm sure you could guess what this AU is about, so I don't think I need to go into detail, because it's just gross. The point is, people making such lewd art of a fictional child with adult characters is seriously concerning, and it definitely makes the community look awful. Other children in the Undertale universe that are commonly sexualized are Kara and Azriel. Some people say it's Chara, but I'm gonna say Kara, okay, so don't come at me. Some people like Shuckle Squad have done humorous videos on cringeworthy comics, which sometimes include lewd topics.
Ads. Oh, hold on. This isn't Undertale or Minecraft. This is. What's going on?
Their laugh was honestly so contagious throughout the series, and it makes me sad that their account is gone from YouTube. That moves us on to our next segment. Fanfictions are very popular in fandoms. You could search up any character X reader or X another character, and it most likely exists. Wattpad is the perfect spot for these kinds of books to exist. Now, most of these stories are just written up for the enjoyment of imagining a fictional character railing you. And if you think I'm joking, I'm not. I'm not at all. Some of the stories are genuinely good though, and don't rely on intercourse as a plot. I myself have written some books on there, and like, sure, they were bad because I was like 11, but the point is, I have experience with it, so yeah. People would also make comics which are basically the same thing, but not really, and most of these comics would consist of someone's shitty ripoff of a character from the game, aka an OC made by some 12-year-old, and these characters would literally just be Sans, but as a female to date Sans. Or it would be a replica of Frisk or Kara, but with a random name and a slight difference to their appearance. For some reason, the genocide route in the game led a lot of people in the fandom to make their characters quote-unquote insane or quote-unquote evil, which should not be romanticized at all. People who are generally new to things like roleplay will often create a character with some tragic backstory so they fit into whatever the RP chats are talking about. Either that, or they're just looking for some severe attention because they can't get any from their parents. Anyways, yeah. Now, from personal experience, I've never really created an OC for Undertale because I'm not as creative. Even though most OCs are awful, I've seen some that are actually really cool and fun to meet. That being said, some of the characters I've roleplayed in the Undertale community is Napstablook, Muffet, Alphys, and Toriel. With certain family members also being a part of roleplaying, they would play characters such as Metaton. For those who don't know, Metaton and Napstablook are cousins, so having an actual family member connect in that special way really lets us get into character when we're talking to people on public chats or in public calls. Unfortunately, with being so active online comes the bad parts that are sometimes hidden. You have a trigger warning now for some of the topics I'm about to bring up. Some people in communities aren't the best, especially in the Undertale one. With Amino, I've had to deal with several serious situations. This includes situations involving grooming, manipulation, self-harm, people abusing their power as moderators, and a lot more. These situations made me mold myself into a character that wasn't accurate to Napstablook. People knew me online for keeping tabs on each individual who would join my chats or my friends' chats. If I knew they were doing something bad and against the guidelines, I'd personally go out of my way to contact leaders in charge of the entire community. But even with all of my evidence, nothing was solved. This gives a detailed insight on the toxic section of the Undertale community. Getting into drama is so easy in such a large fandom that has no sense of control. People let things slide for the sake of fiction or to protect their characters. From an outside perspective, I don't blame people for staying away. That's probably the smartest thing you could do. But at the same time, you should be open-minded. Not all people in the fandom are cringy kids who think they're married to Sans. Many people who are in the fandom or who have been in the fandom since 2016 use the game as a sense of comfort. All the characters have something unique about them that makes it really easy to get so attached. This could be for many other games as well, like Sally Face or Life is Strange, or whatever you want, really. Some other things that make this fandom look bad is memes. And that's the end of this video. I didn't go into full detail, but if you want me to, just let me know. If you'd like me to cover more fandoms and expose the toxic environment that either shows or hides beneath the surface, please leave a comment below. And if you want to see more similar content, you should totally subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time.